think we should be finishing at 1:30. 3 hours is fine. Welcome back. How are y'all? Okay. I think the last I saw y'all was on 31st January. And yeah. Okay. So I hope everyone is okay. Happy New Year to those who are celebrating. Happy Chinese New Year. Though it's MCO New Year, but we make the best out of it. Okay, so without any further delay, let's start with our lesson. Okay, in the last session which I had with you, okay, we covered chapter 1 and then we did a bit of seminar, and I also covered assignments, right? The assignment that you are supposed to do, okay? And I will do chapter 2 today, right? Chapter 2 and 3. We will do chapter 2 and 3. Let me just go to the materials for this module. Okay, so all your materials are in the files folder. I think the last time I told you all to download everything. Okay, download everything and keep it in a safe folder, as in your laptop or your phone or wherever. It's easily accessible to all of you. Okay, so today we are going to be doing chapter 2 or week 2. Okay, if you open your files under the Teams, it will say week 2, which is strategic competitive forces. Alright, so this was supposed to be 1 and 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so if we have time, we will cover chapter 3 as well, week 3 as well. Alright, okay, so I am going to open week 2 and share my screen and start the lecture with all of you. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, let's enlarge it. All right, so today we will look at strategy, competitive forces, and positioning. But before we go there, let's just go and recap a bit so that you have a refresher of what we did in the first class, right? I'll just quickly run through with you. Okay, so in our first class, we did a bit of introduction to the module itself, all right? A bit of module assessment and so on, okay? Some key questions, all right? Okay, yeah, going to learning objective, we covered what was strategy, a bit of definition, quite a lot of definition, and who are these people under these strategies, okay, and why we form strategy, and how to use strategy. Those were the 4 main areas that we covered, okay? And then a little bit of history about what is a strategy and how they came up with and so on. And then we did a case study on Uber and Netflix, if you remember, all right? So that is to just cover the brief of what is strategy. So today we will go in further into understanding what forms a strategy. If an organization is planning to take a strategy, it's planning to build a strategy, it's planning to develop a strategy, what are the areas or what are the factors that they need to take into consideration before they could actually form their own strategy. Okay, what are the forces and how do they place the strategy, right? Okay, so look at this, how Tesco's new discount chain can compete with Aldi and Lidl. Okay, so Mark Rickson, Tesco's budget Jack store will fail because you can't beat Aldi at being Aldi. You won't, no, sorry, it says you don't win by beating your competitor at the game that they have been playing for decades, right? You win by playing the game your way with your unfair advantages, right? What it means is when you build a strategy, this is just a briefing to tell you. Imagine you have a competitor. That means you run there is a business and you start a business. You are trying to compete with a business which has been in the market for decades, right? Your competitor is a person who has established everything in the market. So you are trying to compete with them with your new product. Okay, example, we are Malaysians. Example, how many coffee has beat or has actually overtaken Nescafe? When we hear the word Nescafe itself, it's like the most prominent or the most significant coffee that we have been consuming all this while, right? Imagine you come up with coffee. A lot of coffee in terms of packaging and packets which is sold in the supermarket and all has not come to the extent where it is doing as well as Nescafe. So when you try to penetrate into a market which is already being so established very long, it is very difficult. If you want to penetrate, you must do a bit of differentiation, something different, right, to your advantage as well. So slow growth takes shine of Tesco budget chain, Jack's year on. So what he says here, a year on, fewer stores than expected have opened and recent job losses have raised question about its success. It's an interesting experiment, but based on those sales figures, Jack is probably costing more than it's making. The new brand risks drawing shoppers away from Tesco store, and German discounters are both open roughly at a source. So this is what is happening in Tesco. Tesco is from UK. All right, so forget about that. So the key terms here or the key themes within strategy study is what we are trying to analyze from what was the case earlier is strategic management involves major intended and emergent initiatives taken by general managers on behalf of the owners involving utilization of resources to enhance the performance of their external environment. Okay, see the keyword here, external environment. So it explains the general managers in a company, usually on behalf of the owners of the company, take certain moves, certain initiatives, okay, by using all the resources inside the organization to see how well the organization can perform in the external environment. Okay, see the keyword here, it's external. External means outside of the organization. Okay, you are creating something or using all the resources that you have inside the organization to see how well your organization can perform outside of your organization. Within organization, you have control, but outside of your organization, things which is happening outside of your organization, you have no control, right? Okay. Plan for today. Understand the importance of differences in competitive environment. We are going to be looking at what are the differences in competitive environment. All right, we're going to see what is competitive environment. We're going to see the different type of industries, and then we will understand and analyze the role of industry, competitive forces, and generic strategic positioning. Next, we will also see the macro environment, okay, and know how it can affect strategic choices. Appreciate the role of strategic group. So this is what we are going to be covering today. So to start off with, there are 3 levels of strategy. Okay, so you see the first one, it says corporate level strategy. Second one, business level strategy. Third one, functional level strategy. So in an organization, or usually in terms of business, there are three levels of strategy which is covered or which is taken into account. All right. The first one is corporate level strategy. Corporate level strategy is basically cross business industries, what business should be in. Okay, corporate strategy talks about what is the business that the organization is doing in general. Second is business level strategy. How do we compete in this business? As in that strategy will explain what we need to compete in the business. The business that you're doing, what you need to compete or what you need to do. And then functional level strategy is all the jobs that you've been doing inside your organization. How do we implement decision made about corporate and business level? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. The first one, corporate level looks at a very holistic picture of what business the organization is in, or how we need to look at the business overall and so. Second one, business level strategy. How do we compete in business? That means you are slowly focusing into your core business. All right. And then third one, functional level strategy is what are the strategies that you take within your organization? So in an organization, usually you have HR department, you have finance department, you have marketing department, and so many other functional units. We call this functional unit. So each of these functional units will have their own strategy. So it's like a pyramid, functional, business, and then we have the corporate level. Okay. So you look at these layers of business environment. This is what happens in the business environment. When we say business environment, these are the elements, or these are the people, or these are the components which is actually covered in business environment. Okay. Take 1 minute to just look at it. How do you make meaning of what is stated here? Just see. Okay. Now, you see the purple circle? That is the organization. The organization here can be anything, any organization out there. It could be any businesses that you are attempting to. Okay. Now, the minute you step out of your business, step out of your organization, you've got so many competitors. All right. You have got so many competitors around you. Okay. Now, competitors are people who are in the same business with you. Okay, example, I'm giving you an example. You run a restaurant. Okay, you are running a restaurant. That is your business. Say, suppose you sell nasi lemak, roti canai and everything. That is your business. Okay. So, who are your competitors, or what are the market around you? The competitors is other restaurants which sells the similar food and drinks like you. Those people are your competitors. Now, what is industry? If you are a restaurant selling food, so which industry do you belong to? You belong to the food and beverage industry, correct? That's a big industry, food and beverage. People can sell food, coffee, drinks, all that is under the food and beverage industry, correct? And then we have the macro environment. So the macro environment here is basically what are the factors which can affect your business. Example, political, economical, social, legal, factors which can actually affect your industry and your competitors and even you. All right? We will do an exercise on this later, but let me explain to you one by one what is business environment. Okay, this is a business environment. So, business environment can be conceptualized or can be understood in different ways in terms of, first is industry. ecosystem, field, market, institution, and legal structure. So it actually explains, when I say business environment, is basically an industry or the ecosystem. When you run a business, there is a system, there is a whole new perspective towards it, right? And the key rule of the game is government regulation and demand drivers. So even if you run a business according to what you want, there are certain regulations that you need to follow, right? And it also explains about relationship with other organizations, individuals, government bodies, and many other institutions. Okay. It also talks about how you deal and how you interact and how much of interactions or relationship you have with other organizations out there. And then it also talks about competition between rivals, your competitors. If you run the food industry, you are not the only one who is running the food industry. There's also other competitors who are involved as well, correct? So this is what we call business environment. So when you run a business, or even any one of you whose parents who have run business, there are so many things that you will need to take into consideration rather than just focusing on what to sell or how to attract customers. So there are a lot of other things which you need to consider as well. Okay. All right. We will start with understanding the macro environment. What is a macro environment? So go back to this. See, can you see the macro environment is the biggest circle? Okay, the biggest component in business environment. So we will do that. Okay. Macro environment can be easily understood with the pastel analysis, or we call it as pastel model. Why we call it pastel? It's because it is it consists of, political, economic, social, technological, environment, and legal perspective that we need to analyze. So what is the first P here? Political. Political means government and other political bodies. That means when you want to start a business, you must ensure that you follow government regulation. Whatever rules, laws which talks about business, how to start a business, you have to follow. You have got no control over it. You cannot say that you don't want to follow. You have to adhere to it. Second is economic. Economic is every country will have their own economic factors and economic status. Some country, the economy will be doing very well, flourishing and blooming very well. But nowadays, a lot of countries' economic is slowing down because of the global pandemic and so on. So when you want to start a business, you must also do a bit of research and see what is the economic condition of the country or the place or the surrounding that you are in. Right? What's the point of starting a business when the economic is very down? People don't have money, inflation rate is high. So you need to analyze that. Because economic, you have got no control. Third, the element here is S, which is social. It is about changing cultures and demographic. Okay, people change, people grow old, new kids are born. These kids grow up, they become young, they become old, and so on. So the demographic keeps changing. No one stays at one particular age. So the product that you sell, the product that you want to venture into, or services that you provide, you must see who is there to buy your product or services. Okay. If you sell clothing, fashion clothing, okay, you will have a certain target group of people. Okay, you'll have youngsters between this age to this age and so on. You can go and sell those clothes to older people. So when you start your business in some area, what you must know, what is the demographic factor? What is the people's culture at that area? Okay, imagine, example, you go to a Muslim country in Saudi or in the Middle East, you try to sell summer clothes. Very revealing clothes and all. Is it appropriate? Not appropriate, because no one will buy. Even if you buy, the market is not there because that is the culture. People there don't reveal themselves and all. But at the same time, if you open this kind of shops in America or in Europe, where during summer, people will just come and buy your clothes because that is the culture. They love their summer clothes. They like to go to the beach and so on and such. That is the culture there. So you need to ensure what is the social environment around you. Then you will know what you would like to start or how you can actually start your business. All right, the fourth one is technological. Technological innovation means to what extent you can use or your business relies on technology, right? How much of technology that you need to use in order to create innovation. Some businesses don't need technology at all, very minimal. Like food industry, say suppose you run a mama shop, nasi lemak roti canai shop, the technological dependency is very little. You probably, the highest you could go is taking menu online. Okay, ask them to scan the barcode and all, take check on the menu and order it online. That's all. But in some businesses, say suppose you are a computer, you are you are a computer specialist, you run a specialist center or engineering center. What your technological requirement is very high. So depending, and technology also goes back to explain in every industry to what extent we have already adapted to certain technology. So in Malaysia, if we look at food industry, our technological advancement or the use of technology is very limited. But if you go to Japan and see how much technology they are using in terms of their food. We've got robots to serve, they've got robots to actually even prepare the food and so on. So it also depends on the level of how much the country has advanced in order to use technology into their business, whichever business. Okay. Next is strategies have to think their strategic position and product offering in the face of tremendous changing market environment. I'm very sorry. We have covered P, E, S, T. All right. Now E. E is environment. Right? Environment here refers to importance to green issues or the environment itself. Okay? In Malaysia, we are quite concerned, or I would say to a certain extent, we are quite concerned with whatever business that you start, you must ensure that you are not polluting or you are taking care of the environment at the same time. Okay? You can't start a business and then pollute the environment at the same time. I mean, pollute the environment and say you are running a business and so. So that goes back to political, where government has come up with regulations. All right, how we can actually create sustainability. How your business, like example, girls, you will know the body shop. Body shop is very concerned with environment and sustainability. So most of their product is claimed to be very animal free, animal cruelty, free of animal cruelty, free of pollution eminence and so on, and chemical free and so. Okay, so in that way, it actually explains that how they are able to protect on that too. Okay, but to some extent, certain businesses will not have this component affecting them. All right. Okay. The last one is legal. Legal is legislative constraint or changes. So as the business, as everything grows within the country, the political, economic, social, the legal perspective, the law will keep changing as well. All right. Now we have got MCO, right? We have got MCO. Say suppose you run a food industry. The law at the moment says that, initially remember when MCO came up last year and all, you cannot dine in, you have to follow, correct? You cannot, if say suppose you run a restaurant, you cannot have customers coming in and dining, you cannot even open your restaurants and so on and such. Okay, so because you need to follow. Can you break the legislative constraint or the change in law? Cannot. Okay, so at time to time, PESTEL, the pestle analysis is something beyond your control. What you need to understand is it's completely beyond your control. It's completely, you have got no say towards it. It keeps changing. Political keeps changing. Every time a government, a prime minister changes, a president changes, the government will change. The policies will be amended. Economic condition also depends. If the country is doing very well, economy will bloom. But at the moment, all the countries are facing difficulties in economic. Social, it keeps changing. People like to follow trend, right? Those days in the 50s, 60s, Malaysians never eat fast food. But now we are very prone to fast food, and how we buy food is also through Grab, through Food Panda, and all this, using all those things. Technological innovation, same. How the food industry have actually advanced in terms of serving food, in terms of preparation and so. Environment, how we are actually creating sustainability, to what extent your business or the business around the world is affecting the environment, pollution, and so. Legislative and constraint, the constant changes which takes place because of the environment changes. All right. So what is that here? At the point, strategists have to think their strategic position and product offering in the face of tremendous changing market environment. So it means every time you create a product or every time you start, someone starts a business, they must be aware that it is always good, and you need to continuously you need to continuously ensure that you are prepared for all these changes that are taking place. All right, constantly changing environment. The pastel analysis will constantly change and it's unpredictable. All right, so when you start a business, you must be prepared for that. All right, so it says here, example of pastel analysis. Chinese football teams are not allowed to field a maximum of 3 foreigners. Okay, that means in China, the football team, you cannot have more than 3 foreigners part of the team. You cannot hire. Like sometimes some countries will hire international players to ensure that the football team blooms and all. These are regulations. That means it could be the political reasons they don't allow. Second, Kodak's downfall wasn't about technology. Okay, you know Kodak those days when you're young, I think when you were a kid, when I was a kid also, we used to have this Kodak. Go to the Photoshop, you buy this film, you insert into your camera and you start clicking. Then you take the film, bring it back to the Photoshop, ask them to develop it and give it to you. Do we do that now? No. But apparently Kodak, their business was lost is not because they never approached technology or they never used the latest technology. It's basically because they didn't want to change. That was the reason. See, environment is changing, people are changing. So if you don't change, this is what will happen. The regulatory are finally coming for Airbnb and Uber. Okay, Airbnb and Uber, you know, they don't have a company. Okay, if I ask you where is the Uber office, there is no office for Uber. Everything is online. The drivers can be found online. The dealings can be done online. You can register everything online. There is no such building or this is the Uber office or this is the Airbnb office. No. So much so, a lot of regulation went missing. So the government, the policies, they have put in policies that Airbnb and Uber also must have policies like how physical buildings and physical offices are seen as well. Okay, and then the Asian nation tops Switzerland and the world's safest country to do business. So Switzerland has come up. Switzerland or probably has been awarded the best place to run business because they follow every regulation. They are very safe with the environment. They are very concerned with their people and so on. So pastel analysis does affect a lot of businesses and markets and countries as well. Okay, not fit and proper. Uber loses London license. London transport regulators, that means the government, has declined to renew Uber's license to operate in the city, saying that it is not fit and proper in the latest blow of its 68 billion ride-hailing app. Uber said it plans to immediately challenge the decision in the court. It will put more than 40,000 licensed drivers out of work. London Mayor Sadiq Khan said he fully supports TfL, that means the regulatory body. Providing an innovative service must not be the expense of customer safety and security. You know why the UK government wanted to decline to renew? Because Uber had a lot of issues, social issues. The Uber driver harassing the passengers or the passengers harassing the Uber drivers, a lot of social problems, customer safety was at risk, customers' information was violated and so on. So because of that, because you don't have an office, everything is done online. So they said that you need to put a bit of regulation. Okay, so how do you use the pastel analysis? Apply selectively, okay, identify specific factor which impact on the industry, market and organization in question. Identify factors which are important currently, but also consider which will become more important in the next few years. So First, you apply selectively whichever which is applying to you. Second, pick whichever which is important at the moment and how you will see it in future. Use information and data to support the points and analyze trends using up-to-date information. Identify opportunities and threats, the main point of this exercise. You must see what is your opportunity and what is your threat as well. We will look at that. Now, this is what you call opportunities and threat. Okay. I want you to know one thing, which is called SWOT analysis. Have you heard about SWOT analysis? How many of you have heard about SWOT analysis? Okay. How many of you have heard about SWOT analysis? Okay. Most of you have heard SWOT. SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Okay. So, let's see this. I'm just going to insert one here. So, we got S, we got W, we got O, and we got T. Strength. Opportunity. And okay. Now, why is it okay? Nudge this a bit. Okay, and you see here. There is difference between okay. Okay. Now, going up here, pastel analysis looks at opportunities and threat. Okay, that is why we say the main analysis or the main exercise of doing pastel analysis is to identify opportunities and threat. So these opportunities and threat comes from SWOT analysis. Okay, when you look at SWOT analysis, it's made of strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So the strength and weakness of an organization, an analysis, when you do a strength and weakness of your organization, it is basically from inside, nothing to do with outside. The strength of your organization depends on the resources that you have, the best employees that you have, how much capital that you have, how much physical resources that you have, whatever good things that you have inside the organization, which will help your organization to grow. The weaknesses, on the other hand, is what are the weaknesses or what are the disadvantages that you have. If you don't have enough staff, if you don't have enough money, if you don't have enough space, your resources are very limited, that is your weakness. And these are the things which will limit you from growing. So strength and weakness are usually part of your internal analysis, something which happens inside your organization, which you can control. If you feel that there is not enough staff, you can hire. If they don't have enough money, you can take a loan or you source for things. If you don't have, if you have very good employees, use them and try to see how you can win or create better strategies. So you can play with it because you have control. But opportunities and threat is something which happens outside. It is along this pastel analysis. It is situated along this pastel analysis, which I told you before, you have got no control over pastel analysis. It's external. Political, regulation, all this, do you have control? No. Demographic of people, you don't have control. The environment, you have got no control. Did you have control over this pandemic? No, we got no control. Do you have control over technology? To what extent technology can move fast and slow? Cannot, right? So that is why pastel will do, pastel usually analyzes the external environment, opportunities and threats. Okay, now I hope it makes sense to what we are going to look here. So pastel opportunities and threat for the oil industry. You know oil industry, right? Oil and gas industry. Example, we have got in Malaysia, we have got Petronas, and then international oil and gas industry companies, we have got Shell, ExxonMobil, and then we've got Qatar Oil and so many others. Okay. At the moment, if you know, the oil industry didn't do very well sometime last year, as the same time with when the pandemic started, the oil price also dropped. Correct? Okay. Take a minute or two and look at this. Look at these opportunities and threat. See what you can actually analyze. Just have a look. I will explain to you. Okay. Now see here. Opportunities and threat for oil industry. Opportunities means what are the good things which we can actually take from what's happening outside. Okay. Of course, the government has put some regulation. Okay. So the government regulation allows a certain condition where all oil price is controlled. Okay. And then we've got in terms of politics, you see PESTEL runs in the middle. The government support. Okay, in terms of politics, the opportunities that you can see, the government supports all these industries, but the threat is the global instability in Saudi Arabian policy may affect the oil price as well. But if the government is strong in some countries, then it provides good support. In terms of economic, new growth business, region business mergers. Okay, so because of the economic is growing, a lot of new companies are merging with one another, right? But on the other hand, the threat is the world economic is slowing down as well. Okay, generally. All right, and then we've got S, low car usage. As of last year, if you see, the air pollution index also dropped because of a lot of cars and vehicles did not operate as much as how they used to the years before. Because why? Everybody had to go through lockdown, no much movements. It was controlled, movements of people were controlled, how many cars and such like that. So it became a threat because no one is, the demand for the oil price is not there. Okay, new production technologies. Okay, in terms of technology, Of course, technology in terms of oil and gas industry is always advancing because people are trying to experiment how is the best way to source for the best quality of oil and so. Fuel efficiency technology. Okay, fuel efficiency technology means there are also technology which requires cars and vehicles not to use oil or not to use diesel and such, going by electricity and so. So that becomes a threat for oil and gas industry, right? When there is no demand again. And then the more you dig out all the oil, you are losing and the environment will start changing. The climate will change, okay? And then legal pollution liabilities and decarbonation as well. So there is no legal requirement talking about how this environment or any legal changes which is happening in terms of taking into consideration of the oil and industry. So there's always in any industry, sorry, in on any industry that we see, there's always opportunities and threat. But to what extent it contributes or it provides opportunity, and to what extent it actually threats the people in the business itself. Okay. Now, one is the macro environment. So we look at the macro environment, the first big circle. Now we are going to look at the second bigger circle, which is the industry analysis. What is industry analysis? Industry, market or sectors are basically, the industry is a group of firms producing products, services that are essentially the same. For example, the automobile industry and the airline industry. Okay. Industry means the field that your business fits to. Example, McDonald's, Starbucks, KFC, McDonald's, Starbucks, pizza, what else? Domino's, all these are food industry. In the fast food industry, okay, they are probably categorized into the fast food industry because your products are almost the same, or you can be categorized under the food industry. Air Asia, Mars, Malindo and all that are categorized under the airline industry. They provide the similar service. Okay. And then we've got Perodua, we've got Proton, we've got Honda, we have got Nissan, we've got BMW, all these companies and all these are called the automobile industry. Companies are different, but when you gather them together, they are called industry because they provide the similar service or product. So a market is a group of customers for specific product or services that are essentially the same. Example, the market of luxury cars in Germany. Market means the target group. Where do you sell or who do you sell your product to? All right. Example, if you sell McDonald's, if you have Starbucks, it's basically for people who like, take Starbucks for example, it's for people who like coffee, people who like high-end coffees, or people who like to sit and do their work, there is a market or there is a target group for it. Okay. Example, we've got Louis Vuitton, we've got all these expensive luxury handbags and products and all. Who are these people? People who buy luxury goods, okay, luxury handbags and so on, right? And then we've got for ladies, you see, we've got Sephora, we've got all this makeup, who are these customers, main customers? People who buy those kind of products and so on, okay? And then a sector is broadly industry group or a group of market, especially in the public sector. Okay, that means sector means a group of industry, a broad industry, a group of market, especially in the public sector. So in Malaysia, if I say public sector means the government sector. So the government sector is not only one, it has got the health sector, it has got the IT sector, it has got the education sector, it has got many sectors. That is called sector. Okay, so many industries within the sector or many market within the sector. Okay, industry is type 1 of 2. Monopoly industry means an industry with one firm and therefore no competitive rivalry. A firm has monopoly power if it has a dominant position in the market. Example, Google in the US search engine market. So if you do a survey, you can go to Google and do a survey. How many people or what is the percentage of users in the world using Google? It will show probably, let's see, Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see. Okay, let's see. Number of users for Google. Google search engine market shares more than 90%, considering that there are almost 4.39 billion internet users. The number of Google users worldwide is nearly 4 billion. There are 246 million unique Google users, blah, 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 blah. So you see, they have monopolized. Okay, that is what we mean monopoly market, or we call it the monopoly industry. Some industry or some industry will monopoly, an industry which one firm, in the industry, one firm would have monopoly the whole industry itself. Example, in Malaysia, before Netflix, Prime and all this Amazon TV and all came, who can tell me which was the television network which monopolized the telecommunication or the TV or the, I don't know, the media industry? Who can tell me in Malaysia?
Should be Astro.
Yes, correct. Astro was the one who monopoly. That means when Astro was around, okay, now still there, but they were the only one who were given the authority to actually run a what do you call those kind of services, okay, programs and so. Right, so they monopoly. So in some industry, only one company will monopoly or monopolize the whole industry because there is no much competitors for it. Okay. Second, we have oligopoly industry, an industry dominated by few firms with limited rivalry and in which firms have power over buyers and suppliers. Example, Boeing and Airbus dominate the market of civil aircraft. So oligopoly industry is industry dominated by a few firms only. Okay. In the airline industry, Boeing and Airbus are the two companies, okay, who have got the rights to actually sell and who dominate the airline or the civil aircraft also. All right. So these are the two companies. If you see Mars, if you see any other airline company, these are the two main companies or firms which offers their plane. They are manufacturers of plane. Okay. All right. And then we've got perfectly competitive industries where barriers to entry are low. There are many equal rivals, each very similar product. Information about competitors is freely available. Few markets are perfect, but many have features of highly competitive markets. Example, mini cabs in London. So perfectly competitive industry is normal. Okay, you can see everybody is having the same kind of business. It runs around the same. People have option to take which one they want and so, right? And we have got hyper competitive industry, which is where the frequency, boldness, and aggression of the competitors' interaction accelerate to create condition constant change. Okay. Example, mobile phone. The demand for mobile phone is so high that all the businesses which produces mobile phone are constantly changing their product. Okay, because of the demand. So hyper competitive is because the competition is too high. You cannot just sustain with the product for some time. You need to keep changing your product so that the demand always continues. Okay, so we have got monopoly industry, oligopoly industry, perfectly competitive industry, and also hyper competitive industry. Okay, so if you see industry types, monopoly, oligopoly, and perfect competition, right? The characteristic, monopoly, one firm, often unique product or services. Oligopoly, few competitors, product and services different, very high entry barriers. Perfect competition, you've got many competitors, very similar product or services, and low entry barriers. And competitive, five forces threat. Okay, the competitive threat is very low, it varies, and also very high. I mean, in monopoly, the competition is very, very low. Nobody will penetrate because there's already one person doing it, and that's the only person who is going to do. Oligopoly depends. It can be another person emerging out of nowhere coming to compete. Perfect competition, the competition is very high. Anybody can start and they will be in the competition or in the race. So the industry cycle or the industry life cycle and industry itself, see, look at their life cycle. It will go through development stage. It will start off with the development stage, then growth, shakeout, maturity, and then slowly it will decline. It is normal. So in development stage, the rivalry is very low rivalry. Differentiation, innovation is the key. You have to be very different with your product, then only you can slowly develop in the industry, because people need to see your product being different. In the growth stage, you will see high growth and weak buyers, but low entry barriers. Growth to key ability. Okay, and then we've got shakeout. Shakeout means you are trying to determine whether you're going to drop or you're going to increase. Maturity is when you establish, you become stable. You already have good, strong buyers for your product. All right, and then decline is when new competitors come, your product will slowly decline. Okay, and many exit. That is why some firms don't last long and they are not able to compete in the competition, and then they will leave. All right, so how do we define industry? A key issue is to define accurate industry within which one is competing. The industry must not be defined too broadly, that means too wide to be meaningful, and too narrow, thus excluding important competitors. So industry can be analyzed at different levels. Example, different geographics, market, even different product or services, right? So which industry does Apple fits in? Who can tell me? Which industry does Apple, the company Apple fits in? Anybody? Telecommunication or technology or computing or what?
I think it's telecommunication.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
so it depends. Apple can be seen as telecommunication, or it could be seen as technology. Okay. So mainly, I think it's telecommunication, right? Okay. Now, strategic errors are made when firms define their industry too narrowly. Okay, now why this question of defining industry is you need to ensure that where you actually fit in. Only when you know where you fit in, okay, you see, industry can be analyzed at different levels. For example, different geographies, market, and even different product or service segment within them. Example, airline market. It could be categorized in different industries as well. All right. So industries, you can look at it from a geographical industry. You can look at it from the market perspective. You can look at it from the product it offers also. Okay. Example like airline industry or airline market. Airline industry or the airline company can be categorized under a market. Market means how many people fly and how many people use the airline industry. What is the competition there? You can put it under that. Or you can also put it under product. Airline company, what are the other products that they sell besides flying? They also sell some things in while you're flying and transits and so on, so many other segments. So it's a different way to actually analyze the industry itself. So when you analyze your industry, you need to ensure that how you are analyzing it, because you need to create strategy for it. So when you create strategy, you need to analyze what is happening around the industry. So if you place your company in a different industry or wrong industry, so you're analyzing the environment, the external environment wrongly. So strategic errors are made when firms define their industry too narrowly. Wider definition enables strategies to consider more firms as potential rivals. Example, a bus company rivaling intercity train lines and understand the threat of substitutes, car transport becoming cheaper or easier than train travel. Okay, but is it necessary to define the industry widely at all time? Not necessary. Okay. So example here, Amazon plans to open 100 of bookstores, mall operators. Okay, such an expansion, which Amazon itself has not confirmed, would position the world's top online retailer as competitor to booksellers such as Barnes and Noble. So which industry Amazon is in now? At any risk of opening up new industries, what knowledge plus capability combination required such expansion? Why? Why do you want to do and which industry you are fighting for? Okay. An industry analysis here is basically how 5 forces determine competitive attractiveness, right? This is where we learn Porter's 5 force analysis, right? It determines the attractiveness of an industry and construct a sustainable competitive position for the firm among competitors, which industries market to enter or leave. It defines the rules of competition within an industry. So this is called 5 force analysis, Porter's 5 force analysis. Michael Porter, a business strategist, okay, who did research on business strategy and development, came up with this analysis, right? So that's why you see at the bottom there it's stated as Porter's 5 force analysis, framework analysis. So the first one is called threat of new entrants, and then we've got bargaining power of suppliers, then we've got bargaining power of buyers, and then we have got threat of substitutes, product or services, and finally we have rivalry among existing competitors. Okay, so this is what Porter said. How you do an analysis is through this. So from Porter, let's see here. What is the difficulty according to Porter with the way many managers view competition? So Porter argues that managers often frame competition too narrowly. Okay, so he says that a lot of managers who do a strategic analysis, a strategic move, you narrow down too much, okay, on your competition. So Porter argues that managers often frame competition too narrowly. He says, yes, you are competing with direct competitors, but you are also in a broader competition for profit with customers, suppliers who might have been bargaining, who might have bargaining power, new entrants who might come in and grab a piece of the action, substitute products which place a cap on your ability to grow. So what he says here is when you do analysis, do not do it too narrow. Don't focus too narrow in one person or one competitor or few competitors. You must look at the industry itself, right? So what has Porter learned about application of these ideas in the real world of business? So he suggests that the model can be applied to any industry, product, service, high tech, low tech, in either emerging or development economies. So he argues that the power of framework is its timelessness, and such it helps avoid organization getting duped by the latest technological facts. The 5 force Porter argues allow managers to concentrate on the underlying fundamentals of this structure and particularly the industry. So, implication of 5 force analysis. It talks about which industry markets to enter or leave. It helps identify the attractiveness of the industry. So, why Porter came up with this 5 force analysis is because it will help a business to understand which industry or market to enter or to leave. Usually, most of the time to enter. When you want to start a business, you will know which one to enter. Second is what influence can be exerted. Okay, what are the strategies that can influence the impact of these 5 forces? Example, building barriers to entry, becoming more vertical. I'll explain this to you later. And the third one, the force may be different impact on different organization. Okay, so different companies will have different forces or different impact towards it itself. So when you open your company, some people open the company very small. Some people, the first time when they open itself, they open it at a bigger scale. So large firms can deal with barriers to entry more easily than small firms. And defining the right industry is also applying the model at the most appropriate level, not necessarily in the whole industry. While the 5 force model focuses on an industry and the boundaries of the industry are blurred, think about the case of Amazon operates in different industries. Okay. Converging industries means particularly in the high-tech arenas where industries overlap. So it could be digital industry, it could be mobile phone industry, it could be camera. I mean, digital industries here can mean mobile phones, can mean cameras, MP3 and all. It also could mean tech industry and so. So converging industry, in an industry where there is many arenas. And what are the other issues is complementary organization, which enhances the attractiveness of a business to customer or supplier. The demand complementers are organization enhances your business attractiveness to customers. Application suppliers are complementers to smartphone product. I'm just going to skip this. All right, hold on. Sorry. Steps in an industry analysis. Okay. Define the industry clearly, several steps that you can do. Identify the actors of potential forces, then determine the underlying factors, assess overall industry structure, assess recent and expected future changes, and finally see how to position your business in relation to the forces. Okay, as for Porter's 5 force analysis, okay, I will give you more reading an article in a short while. Okay, you can also refer to all this. So that is the end of chapter 2. So chapter 2 basically explained about what is strategy, competitive forces and positioning. Mainly explained about what is external environment, what is market and what is also industry. So if you go to the circle here, okay, so we talked about macro environment, we talked about industry and it also talked about market. Okay, that is where your organization is. So outside of your organization, you need to deal with all these things, your competitors or your market. Then we've got the sector or the industry and the bigger picture, the macro environment. Okay, so any questions so far? Smartphone is most of the time telecommunication industry, It is usually it can be put under manufacturing and it can be put under telecommunication industry as well. See, you see, sometimes some product can be categorized into different industries. Okay, example, you buy frozen food to cook and all, right? It can be under manufacturing industry. It could also be under food and beverage industry. Correct. So certain items or certain things, certain product and services could be categorized under different industries. So you need to ensure that when you do an analysis, you are not narrowing down to one, but also a bigger. That is what Potter said. Okay. Any questions?
No, all good.
All good. Okay. If no questions, later I would like to start chapter 2. But meanwhile, let's go to seminar. Sorry, not one. Okay, sorry. Close this. We go to seminar 2. Week 2. We will go to week 2 seminar. Okay. Under week 2's folder, if you see, there is a case study. And then we go. Okay, what I want you to do is, okay, I'm going to share with you my screen again. You're going to do a case study, It's something related to your assignment also. All right, this is your week 2 seminar. Okay. This is our discussion today. So, it says, based on what we have learned just now, there's a case study on Thomas Cook. Okay. And then we'll do a bit of group work and then we will see how it reflects back to the assessment. So, case study 1, Thomas Cook, the much loved travel brand with humble roots. Okay, what we are going to do, read the case study provided and discuss, reflecting on the lecture content of 4 industry types. Which type of industry was Thomas Cook through the years? Okay. Second, try to use the industry life cycle to discuss the question. Did Thomas Cook enter and left the industry? at the right time? Who or what business are the main competitors for Thomas Cook throughout the years? Is Thomas Cook aware of the change of the main competitors and react to it effectively? And then, who should be responsible for such business failure? The government who failed to save the business, or the CEO who received more than 35 million pounds in 12 years despite financial woes? Okay, so this is what we are going to be looking at based on the case study. Then we will see the industry types, and then we reflect back to the case study. And then once you have read the case study and just run through a glance, don't need to write down, but just try to organize your ideas and write in a piece of paper just the points. And then we will do a group work which is about Kodak. What business was Kodak in 2 years? So you can Google up a bit about Kodak. Was Kodak's downfall about technology, or how do you explain such downfall from strategic point of view? Do you think it's important for companies to react to environmental change? Okay, that is one. Then finally, I will reflect back to your assignment, all right, guidance, assessment guidance. Revisit such guidance and try to identify several topics. We have already discussed the topic. We will go back and discuss the assessment topics again. All right, the worksheet is available and we'll use it as well. Okay, so at the moment, what you need to do, I'm just going to give you probably about 20 minutes to read up Thomas. You see, there's a case study, there's a words document on Thomas Cook. It's week 2 lecture, and it's under seminar. You click that folder, it is there. Okay, it's a short case study. All right, read that and look at the seminar question and try to reflect on this. Okay, right. Okay, I'll give you about 20 minutes. Just run through your seminar too, and then I will start discussing with you. All right. Okay. I think you had enough time. I thought what I will do now is probably I'll finish chapter 3 first, okay, and then we will come back to seminar 2's tutorial. Right? I think because of time, I need a bit of time to do your chapter 3. So once I finish chapter 3, and then we can come back and look at the case that I've given now. So, okay, meanwhile, what I have done is I have uploaded a simple reading for you in the Teams folder under the files. Go to chapter 2 or go to week 2. Under week 2, there is seminar 2 and week 2 lecture and also seminar for week 2. I have uploaded a material called five force analysis, right? It is called five force analysis, if you can see. So yeah, it's called five force framework, right? It's under week 2. The folder under week 2, you open that folder, you can see five forces framework. That is actually Potter's five force framework. Okay, it is a simple article to allow you to understand what is Michael Potter's analysis, what are the five forces that he have explained, how to use it for strategic purposes. All right, you need to read that, and then it will be easier when you do your assignment, because your assignment will require you to do an analysis of the five force factor. Okay, so that is for your reading. And meanwhile, we will go into chapter 3. Right? Okay, give me a minute. Let me see first. Okay, leave that open. Yeah, week 3 is on strategic strategy, resource, and capabilities. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. All right. Okay, this is week 3. Right, this is what we will continue now. Okay. Now, strategy, resource, and capabilities. Initially, what we understood is what is resources. Sorry, what is strategy? The first week, what we did was what is strategy, the definition of strategy, strategist, okay? The very basic concept of strategy. And then earlier, first half of the class, what we did was mainly on analysis, environmental analysis on how to see a business and then what is happening outside of it. So we looked at opportunities and threats. What are the environment that an organization faces while it's dealing in the business environment? So we actually looked at external business environment. Okay, so we looked at what is market analysis, what is industry analysis, and what is the pastel analysis, right? And also how five force actually affects the industry or the business. Now, what I want to bring forward today, right, the second half is what is happening inside the organization. How an organization can build its own strategy by looking what is inside. Though what an organization typically needs to do is ensuring that it looks at its external and internal resources in order to build its strategy. So we looked at what is happening outside. Now we are going to see what is happening inside of the organization. Okay, so we are going to be looking at resources and capabilities. So again, earlier I explained to you, there are 3 levels of strategy: corporate, business, and functional. And the layers of business environment, again, the organization, competitors, industry, and micro environment. So we have covered what happens outside. What happens market and competitors, what happens industry or the sector itself, and then the macro environment. what we are going to do now is the microenvironment inside. Okay, so our objective for today is what are the resources and capabilities an organization has inside. What type of resource and capabilities can contribute to competitive advantage and superior performance inside the organization? How can resources and capabilities be evaluated? And how can resources and capabilities be developed and managed? So basically, we are going to be looking at what is happening inside the organization, how we can manage things that happens inside the organization and build more capabilities, and based on that, we look at how we can develop strategies. So now look at this. Beyond market-based analysis, when market-based strategy is successful, it is likely to be copied by competitors, thus reducing any competitive advantage. Environmental analysis by itself cannot create the unique insight, while in some while in same circumstances, the analysis of firms' unique skill and capabilities can. Okay, with that, let's look at what Penrose said. Penrose, we remember in the first chapter, we actually covered what she actually spoke about strategy. Edith Penrose identified the firm as having important productive capacities that create resources, radical ideas for economies of the time. Penrose also said that one cannot even start to analyze the external environment of the firm to include the market without prior understanding to the nature of the firm, which is the human and non-human resources. So what she says is, you cannot go and see what is happening outside or try to analyze what is happening outside without looking at what is the first thing inside the organization. The most important thing is to see what is happening inside the organization before going crossing and seeing and analyzing what is happening outside. So here I want to bring you to a theory called resource-based view theory, or RBV theory. RBV is mainly called resource-based view, RBV, resource-based view of a firm, or we call RBV theory or RBV analysis. It's basically you are reviewing what is inside your organization. What are the resources that you have inside your organization which can help you, okay, to analyze. So that is why it says here, in contrast to Potter, so Potter dominates strategic management. Okay, so when you want to build strategic management, if you don't consider Potter's analysis, then it will be a question of how did you even create a strategy. But Potter's is characterized by outside of an organization, correct? Outside view of an organization. An organization should look to the external environment to make strategy. And it also contrasts to Potter, RBV looks inside the firm. So like I said, comparing to Potter's analysis, resource-based view looks what happens inside the organization. So in the 1990s, RBV emerged as an alternative approach to understanding competitive advantage. So it came out at that point to help analyze what happens inside the organization. So the resource-based view of strategy asserts that the competitive advantage and superior performance of an organization are explained by distinctiveness of its capability. It is sometimes also called the capabilities view. Okay, so it talks about what an organization actually can do, what it is capable of doing. All right, that is what is RBV. Foundation of resource and capabilities. The resources and capabilities of an organization contributes to its long-term survival and potential to competitive advantage. So if you can understand what is your organization's resource and capabilities, all right, it will help the organization understand its long-term survival and potential, right? And what is resources? Are the assets that an organization have or can call upon, right, that we have. Resources is basically what an organization has, Say suppose you start an organization or start a business. What are the things that you have inside your organization which will help your organization move? Resource, right? So capabilities are the way these assets are used and deployed. So resource is something that you have. Capabilities is how you use these resources. So you see, resource is basically what we have. Capabilities is how we do well with these resources, right? So what is one is what you have, and what is another one is what you do with it. Okay, resource capabilities will help with competitive advantage. Remember this, this is very important in strategic management. Resource are basically what you have. Capabilities is what do you do with it. All right, okay. So let's look at resources. Resources of an organization is what you can be seen as tangible and intangible. Okay, tangible resource. Look at tangible resource and intangible resource. So to define you what is tangible and intangible, tangible is something that you can see, you can touch. Intangible is something, it's there, but you cannot touch and see. All right, but it is there. So look at the definition. Resources are stock of tangible and intangible assets that can generate value or inputs into the production of a good or services. Tangible and intangible assets. Assets means resources, something that you have which can generate value or inputs into the production of goods or services. So look at tangible resources. Tangible resources are like land, buildings, okay, right over the use of labor and fine labor, people inside your organization, employees, finance, cash, raw material inputs, okay, products that you need in order to make into final product. Intellectual property, that means you have copyright over your product. Okay, things that you can see and you know it is there. It is all in document or it is in the physical appearance and so. Intangible resources, on the other hand, it's something that you can't see, but it is there. Example, the unique value because they are hard to understand, copy or buy. Technical expertise, skills you can't see, but it is there. History of good relationship with trade union, suppliers and other stakeholders. Relationships, these are all resources, okay, that you cannot see, but it is there. So every organization will have its tangible and intangible resources when you want to create competitive advantage. That is resources. Now, what is capabilities? Capabilities are not tradable, are not necessarily embodied in any particular individual or assets, but capabilities generally, in a simple way to explain capabilities, are how do you utilize your resources? Okay, so capabilities may include specialized research and development teams to use the resources that you have inside your organization. Sophisticated customer service system that you have. Because of the certain resources that you have, you are able to build such capabilities. Aspects of firm's culture and tradition that create unique, inimitable value. All right, because of certain resources that you have, tangible and intangible, you are able to create value which is so difficult for others to copy, imitate. Okay, now what is threshold and distinctive capabilities? Threshold capabilities are those needed for an organization to meet the necessary requirements to compete in a given market and achieve parity with competitors in the market, qualifiers. That means basic capabilities that you need in order to survive in the industry or in the market. Distinctive capabilities are special capabilities that you have built, that you are special compared to the others. Right? So you see, distinctive capabilities are those that are required to achieve competitive advantage. Distinctive or unique capabilities that are valued to customer in which competitors find difficult to imitate. So threshold capabilities are some capabilities of yours which people can copy. Other competitors can copy. But distinctive capabilities are something which is difficult to imitate. Okay, that means people can't copy. Now, what is resources and capabilities? Just now I told you, resources are what you have. Capabilities are what you do with the resources. So, resources here means internal resources and capabilities provide the basic direction for firm strategy, according to RBV theories. Managers often fail to recognize that a bundle of assets rather than the particular product market combination chosen from its deployment lies at the heart of the firm's competition position. So it is basically, you must know what are your assets and make use of the assets turn the assets into capabilities in order to compete. Core competencies, according to Hamel and Prahalad, introduced that popularized the term core competencies. So these are the two who introduced the core competencies. They say an assemblage of multiple resources, skills, and capabilities located at the organization's level that work together effectively to achieve the collective learning necessary to maintain competitive edge. Resource capabilities and core competency. Example, let's use Google. What resources the company have? Mainly technical skills that they have, skills of its people, the engineers or the computer experts that they have who can bring out the skills. What capabilities the company own? Okay, it's basically the resource that they have and then they put it into use. How did the company combine the resources and capabilities to create the core competencies? Do you think such competencies provide company competitive advantage? Of course. So look at J. Barney. Barney 1991 makes a strong critique of product market approaches such as Porter and industrial organization approach. Barney, a market strategy is unlikely to generate economic rent because of other firms in the market can buy the same resources, eliminate and rent making possibilities. Okay, don't worry about that. Barney's particular focus is on how organization actually acquire or develop its resources. So Barney actually says how you can actually acquire or build resources. Okay, it is not something that you only must have, but you can slowly build your resources as well. Okay, why some firm in the same industry outperform another firm? Okay, it's because of the Vrin model. Okay, why some same business, but they are doing better than the other company is because they follow this Vrin model. Okay, look at Vrin model. We call it the Vrio or the Vrin model. Argues that a resource to be secure based on competitive advantage. In order to have a good competitive advantage, you as an organization must use this Vrin framework. Vrin framework came up with the word VRIN. V being valuable, your resource being valuable. Second, your resource being very rare. Third, your resource being imperfectly imitable. Imitable means no one can copy your resource. And non-substitutable, your resource cannot be replaced with another resource. A particular resource cannot be replaced with another resource. That is called VRIN. Valuable, very rare, inimitable, you can't copy and you cannot replace it. Non-substitutable, right? So let's look at it one by one. Valuable is basically enables a firm to produce a good or service in an efficient and effective manner to exploit opportunities and counter threats. You must have something very valuable inside your organization so that this resource which is so valuable can be used as an opportunity and also to stop threats. Rare means unique. A few organizations possess them. Example, Apple has competencies of designing hardware and software that are very few companies can match. You know, Apple has got this iOS. Most of the other tech companies or other hardware uses Android, but only Apple has got the patent and right for iOS software. Third one is called imperfect imitable. That means it is difficult for competitors to copy the resources. Example, IBM lost its advantage in PC. Easy to copy the computer design sold to Lenovo. Okay, so you must ensure that your resources are not easily copied. Non-substitutable is basically no strategically equivalent resource are available. That means if this one resources, this is the only one. You cannot copy or you cannot substitute. You can't say in order to make coffee, I use tea powder to make coffee. No, coffee means you must have coffee powder, right? Example, resources that are not identical but fulfill the same function that can be exploited by a competitor. To create an entire sustainable energy ecosystem, Tesla also manufactures a unique set of energy solution called Powerwall, Powerpack, and Solar Roof, enabling homeowners, business, and utilities to manage renewable energy generation, storage, consumption. Supporting Tesla's automotive and energy product is Gigafactory 1, a facility designed to significantly reduce battery cell costs. So this is Tesla's resource or the capability, the brain model that they use. Whereas Mercedes is or they call it Daimler is going all in electric vehicles. It is not alone. The world's car makers are engaged in public relation battle to appear the most ambiguous, and Volkswagen promises all 300 of its model will have an electronic option by 2030. Okay, so these are its model framework, which they come with something where it is rare, it is inimitable, and you cannot substitute it. Apple branded vehicles set to be launched in 2023 to 2025. Okay, you see, we are focusing on autonomous system now. It is core technology that we review as very important. We sought all to see the other mother of AI. AI means artificial intelligence project. It is probably one of the most difficult AI projects actually to work on. You see, in the past, only automobile companies came up with cars manufacturing. Okay, but now you see Apple, a telecommunication company or industry who belongs to that industry, is going into AI and then coming with autonomous system and such to even come up with car. Okay. So look at Barney's Brin framework. In each of Brin's Brin condition is satisfied. Okay, if each of its Brin, you look at Brin again. I'm going to go to Brin again. See, valuable, rare, imitable, not imitable, non-substitutable. If each of Brin condition is satisfied, then there is a possibility of a resource providing a sustainable competitive advantage. That means if all the four components of Brin is satisfied, that means it's very, very valuable. If your resource is very valuable, it is very rare, and it's non-imitable, cannot be copied and cannot be substituted. If it fits all four, that means you are going to be having this resource as your competitive advantage. This resource will be an advantage, and it will be called as sustainable competitive advantage. Sustainable competitive advantage means it's going to be long. For a very long time, you can use it. Sustainable. For some time. Sustainability means being able to keep it for long. Resources such as organization culture, strategic HRM, information technology, trust can provide competitive advantage. So these are intangible resources which can be developed and become sustainable competitive advantage. Rather than scanning the market for opportunities, strategy should be looking inside the firm to discover. So earlier slide, we looked at what should we look at outside of the organization to build our strategies. Yes, correct. But we should not be only focused on that. We should ensure that we are able to see what is inside the organization to discover new sources and so on. Now, what is dynamic capabilities? Dynamic capabilities are the firm's capacity to integrate, build and reconfigure internal and external resources, competency to address and shape rapidly changing business environment. So dynamic capabilities are the ability to renew and recreate its strategy, capabilities to meet the needs of changing environment. The dynamic capabilities approach is the best seen in development of RBV, resource-based view model. It shares similar assumption but links the RBV with an understanding that market conditions are fast changing and constantly require new and different competencies. If a firm is unable to adapt to changing circumstances, then over the long term it will become unprofitable. Okay, so dynamic capabilities are the ability to renew and recreate strategic capabilities. So nothing is permanent. So you must ensure that your company or your firm or the strategy that you take is dynamic. So you are able to reuse and recreate, renew using the resources that you have, keep renewing with new things. So what are dynamic capabilities? Dynamic capabilities involve three main attributes: sensing, seizing, and transforming. Sensing means grasping opportunities that may have potential in the business environment. So from time to time, the environment is changing. I told you, pastel analysis. Pastel will continuously change from time to time, year to year, month to month. So you must always see what are the opportunities that you can grab from that changing environment. Kodak sensed opportunities to switch to digital. Okay, do you think Kodak sensed opportunities to switch to digital? No, it didn't. So it went off. So you must be able to adapt constantly to the changes that is happening. Seizing, being able to take advantage of sensed opportunities. That means whatever advantage is there, okay, you make use of it. And transforming whatever opportunities and options that you get out there, use it to create sustainable competitive advantage. Always ensure that when you create an advantage for your company, make sure it becomes a sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so this is a summary of what is dynamic capabilities. And there is always problem with dynamic capabilities. It's not as easy as just can create like that. You cannot know what a dynamic capability is until you have seen it in action. You only know that you have a dynamic capability when you have used it and it was successful, then you know you have it. If you think you have one and it fails to produce sustainable competitive advantage, only then do you realize you don't have it. It is tautological view of strategy. So it depends. Only when you have and you use it, you will realize this is dynamic or not. Okay. If you think you have one and you fail, then you do not realize it until you use it. Okay. It's no point of creating but not using. So in conclusion, you should know what is resource-based view, what is dynamic capabilities, value chain, knowledge-based view, knowledge management will come in later. So I want you to know what is resource-based view model, dynamic capabilities, and green model. Okay, these are references for third chapter. Third chapter is very simple. As long as you know internal, what is happening inside of your organization. Okay, so simple. Third chapter is very simple. What happens inside your organization? Understand what is green model. When you create resource, you must make sure that your resource is valuable, rare, not imitable, and non-substitutable. Okay. Now, I have an exercise for you. Before we go to seminar 2 and also look at seminar 3, look at this model. Okay, business environment model. Okay, look at this model. Now, what I want you all to do is, you don't need to, just when I call out your name, probably you can just read it. I mean, just say it to me. You don't need to write it down and show it to me. Okay, I want you to identify a business. That means, tell me what is your business. Tell me who are your competitors or what is the market that you belong to. Tell me basically who are your competitors. Tell me what industry your business belongs to. And tell me how does pastel analysis actually affect your organization. Okay, that is like going back to this. Let's go back here. earlier week 2, we had this lecture. Let's go to lecture. I want you to analyze 2 ways. Okay, look at this. Tell me what business, give me an example of a business. Tell me who are the competitors. Tell me what industry it belongs to and how the pastel analysis, not all aspects of pastel analysis will affect your organization. Tell me which one of it is the main contributors which will affect your organization. Okay, each of you just think of an organization. Example I gave you just now, food industry. Yeah? Say suppose you run a restaurant. Who are your competitors? Name me some restaurants. Which industry you belong to? The food and beverage could be. And macro environment, example now COVID, the legal and the regulation, government had put in regulation to stop opening restaurants and so on. So that could be affecting your business. Okay, think of one company or one business that comes to your mind and tell me these 3 factors. Okay, I give you a couple of minutes, just think on it, then I'll probably randomly call some names. Okay, who wants to try? If you don't want to speak, you can type. Type to me. Okay, example, tell me what business. Business. Then tell me who are your competitors and tell me industry and tell me your macro. What are the macro problem, macro industry? Okay. Anybody can try. Just tell me what business.
I will try.
Tariq, right?
Yes.
Tariq, go ahead. Great. Tell me one business.
I have chosen Lazada.
Okay, great. Lazada. Okay, let's see. Lazada.
It's an e-commerce platform which belongs to the internet industry.
Okay. Who are the competitors?
Different internet industries like Shopee.
Correct. Shopee, and then you got them. So many, yeah. So many
Yes,
new ones
too
have
many.
come up as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the macro analyst, I would say the government is actually helping out e-commerce platforms by setting up by introducing different advantage for rural areas, people to actually go through the online purchasing process and such.
Okay.
For social democratic graphs, people, more youngsters are actually involved in purchasing things online with the current
Correct.
situation and such.
Okay.
For legal, right now, I don't think so it is affecting much because it's mainly encouraging people to buy it online. For
Correct.
technology, it's way better in technology because everyone is just a single tip of their phone to purchase something online. So
Yeah, very good. Very good, Tarek. Your analysis is correct. In terms of macro, you probably could add up also the political situation or the economic situation now is slow because of the pandemic. People tend to use this business. I mean, your business is having an opportunity. You can take opportunity, correct? Don't you think
yes,
people are all going online, buying everything online now compared to 2 years back? Last year and this year, I mean, people are fully on online purchasing. The percentage of people opted for online purchasing have increased tremendously throughout the world because of the environment. Okay, so if you look at the macro environment, you have got no control. You couldn't control the pandemic, but what opportunity that these companies have taken is to convert, not to convert, to enhance their business further. Okay, thank you, Tarek. Very good. Anybody else want to try? Somebody else? At least another two more students can try. Anybody want to try? If you don't want to speak, you can actually type as well. Before I call names, why don't you all try? Let's see the names. Lim Ping Sing. Lim Ping Sing, you want to try? You can type as well. Okay, good. Tesco. Okay, what about Tesco? Oh, so who are Tesco's competitors? Giant. Okay, we've got so many I'm not sure Aeon and all. Okay, good. What industry does the Tesco belong to? What industry does Tesco belong to? What industry does Tesco belong to, Ping Sing? Not groceries, but you could say it as retail industry because they sell everything, groceries and everything. So it's more of retail industry. Okay. Tell me a bit of their macro analysis. How is their business affected in terms of macro opportunity or threat? What is the opportunity that they are facing and what is the threat that they are having? Can you explain on that? What is the opportunity that they have? So opportunities, probably you can say, being the biggest one. Okay, Tesco being the biggest one, that could be the opportunity that they have. Okay, more of a threat is compared to the threat is now that you can relate it back to what is happening. People uh, when government puts a lot of restriction, okay, and requirement and restriction. So in terms of operating business everywhere, they are limited nowadays, and you will notice that a lot of these retail companies are slowly slowing down in terms of its subsidiaries everywhere because of certain regulation that the government have put in, and so okay, the pricing which is controlled as by the government too. Okay, so you can go by that as well, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So we finish chapter 2 and 3 for today. We've got another about half an hour. We'll go back to seminar 2. Okay. I give you another probably a few minutes to just read up Tim Cook. Tim Cook's article is here. The much loved travel brand with humble roots. I hope you have read. Okay. I'll give you another couple of minutes to just look at it. And then I want to discuss your assignment as well. Okay. We will run through your assignment requirements again. Huh? Okay. I just want to bring the assignment back to your attention. I think maybe you will have a little bit of a clearer understanding of what was required by the assignment. Right. Mr. Ruba has actually provided the assignment deadline. So for your assignment, your deadline is on the 23rd April 2021. Okay, your assignment due date is on 23rd of April. So that's the new date. Remember, your assignment is 3,500 words. So this is your assignment questions. Okay, you're supposed to pick pick any of the question below and develop a report. Develop a report of 3,500 words based upon a chosen title from the list provided. So there are 8 questions here, which you can actually use any of the 8. Sorry, pick any of the 8 and write a written report about it. So it's basically questions related to the topics that we have covered and also what we will be covering, right? The first question is basically topic 1, 2, and 3, which we have actually covered. To what extent do organizations need to consider both macro and industrial environment? So macro and industrial environment in their decision making. So today we did both the macro and industrial environment. Critically discuss how such analysis would contribute to their overall strategy. So you need to talk about your pastel model. Okay, you can talk about your Brin model and all that, macro and micro. But here it's asking you macro and industry environment. Macro here is your pastel analysis. Industrial environment is your Porter's 5 force analysis. Okay, so we have covered that too. So you can actually choose one if you think it is applicable to your knowledge and understanding thus far. Second is critically discuss and evaluate the argument of any competitive advantage will diminish over time. That means this is for topics to come. Okay. Sorry, excuse me. We learned about what is competitive advantage today. Okay, what it says here is over time, competitive advantage will perish. Okay, will diminish, will reduce. So argument about it. You need to write an argument about it. Okay. Third question is critically discuss and evaluate the role of innovation in strategic management, which we haven't covered. We will cover soon. Fourth is cooperation is superior strategy to competition. Deliver a critical analysis. We haven't gone to the type of strategy. Okay. Cooperation strategy or competition strategy. The fifth one is asking you to critically evaluate and strengthen weaknesses of range of global strategy that can be employed by firms. Discuss how such application will contribute to overall strategic decision making. So these two we haven't covered. And critically discuss and evaluate the role of emergent strategy and management of the strategy processes. Conduct a critical that's number 6. Number 7 is conduct a critical analysis on the topic of strategic change, or should it be a smooth roll strategic decision based on rational assessment and so on. And finally, critically discuss and evaluate the role of sustainability for strategic management. That is towards the end of our topic. So at the moment, what you can do is, if you think chapter 1 is topic 1 is applicable, you can slowly start because we have covered enough to look into topic 1 already. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, since your submission is on the 23rd of April, okay, assignment due is 23rd April, okay, we will need to cover your topics as early as by March. Okay, I will try to cover by March so that we have time to do exercises and also focus and help you with your assignment submission. All right, hold on, just want to see how many percent is your assignment.
Miss, isn't it 30th of April? our
Oh,
submission date?
sorry. I'm looking at your operation and project management. Sorry, 30th is April, 30th of April. Correct. Yeah, 30th of April is your submission, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. And it is also that it is noticed that this is 100% assignment on your report. So you don't have exams, right? Yeah, you don't have exams. So 100% weighted at your assessment. So in our next class, I will cover as many topics as I can by 7th and also 21st March. So on the next two classes that we have in April is fully going to be helping you with preparation of your assignment, okay, from the introduction until the conclusion on how you need to prepare your assessment. So I think in the next coming classes, I will cover most of your chapters. We have chapter 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Some of the chapters are very short and some is very direct to the point. So in the next coming classes, we will cover mainly on your lectures. So what I want you to do is download all your lectures, be prepared for the next class with your lecture slides. Preferably, if you could read up your lecture slides would be good, so that when I explain to you, when I go through the lectures with you, you are in some form of a platform where you have already have a prior knowledge to that. So it will be easier for you to ask me questions and also to understand. Okay, so that's your assignment. Because I need you by end of April, end of March, or by the fourth class, which is 21st of March, I somehow want you to tell me what is your topic. You need to tell me which topic is your preference. Okay, and I want to build a guideline for you all to do your assignment. Okay, so the guideline will help you to write your report from introduction to conclusion, and also to ensure that you follow proper Harvard referencing. Remember the session that I had with the orientation session, I ran through with you Harvard referencing. It is very important for you to insert Harvard referencing in your writing as well. Okay. All right, we got about 10 minutes. Any questions on the assignment? Any questions on the lecture notes or anything? Yes, Zauzwan, it is 30th April. My bad, I was looking at your other module, which is project management, is on 23rd of April. So yeah, 30th April is your due date. So out of the 8 questions, you choose one. Okay, out of the 8 questions, you choose one. And once you have chosen, you write a report of 3,500 words. Okay, so as of now, what you can do is you can consider question 1, because we have covered chapters needed to answer question 1. Question 1 is asking you to answer what is the industry analysis and the macro analysis of an organization. So you need to write about pastel analysis and also Porter's 5 force analysis, external. So if you want to choose that, you can try. Okay, you can read up a bit, choose an organization and see how they run their pastel and also their Porter's analysis. Okay, so as of now, it is very important for us to finish up the topics so that you can consider the rest of the 7 other questions. Okay. So,
Miss,
yes, Brandon.
the organization can be foreign or local.
Anything. Organization of your choice could be a local organization, could be an international organization, could be an MNC, could be even your own company that you're working for as well. It's not limited to one. Okay.
Noted, Miss.
All right, great. So once we finish all the lectures, it will be good that by the time you submit your final assessment on the 30th, I can see a draft, a continuous draft on the last 2 classes, so that I can adjust it for you. I can help you to make sure that you are on the right track, and when you submit, you are able to score well. So I can tell you why you are not able to score, where you need to put more information, citation, and so on. Okay, And if you are choosing topic 1, so as for now, there I have uploaded a reading called Potter's 5 force analysis. Pastel analysis is very easy. Yeah? Pastel is basically general common sense that you need to analyze when you look at a business. Okay, what's happening in the country, what's happening in the environment, and read that research paper that I've attached in files under week 2. Go to week 2. Any additional materials related to the lecture, I will put it in that particular week or particular topic. So it's easier, you know, these articles are under that topic. Look at Potter's 5 force analysis and see how it is explained. And also that article explains how you can use Potter's analysis to build strategy or to create. How do you consider Potter's analysis and create a strategic analysis? Anybody got any questions? You can ask me now. Our next class will be on the 7th of March. Uh, 7th of March. Okay, another 2 weeks time. Huh? Okay, all right, I have a question here. Sorry, just to invite, it is one of the 8 questions to write. Yes, yes. Kohui, there's 8 questions, right? You only pick one, not all. Okay, pick only one. Okay, choose only one. Choose only one out of 8. Okay, any more questions? Please ask me questions. I will only see you in another 2 weeks. If no questions, here you can't put questions. I mean, you don't have any questions to ask me. You can always WhatsApp me. Yeah, you have my number. That group that Mr. Rupa has created. You can always ask me questions in that. If no questions, I wait for your question in WhatsApp. If there is, then we will end the class today here. If there is any materials, I will keep uploading in Teams. Please check Teams from time to time. Okay. All right. Then I will end the class. Thank you so much and see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.